Kvaerner in Oslo, Norway. The reason why I wanted to do it like this is because right now I have a gap between exhibitions. I'm not going to exhibit until March, so I thought it would be nice to do some other sort of presentations, and also because of Corona, I have watched a lot of broadcasts from galleries and museums, and I enjoy that a lot. And I think it's actually kind of a nice way to present art also, even though it, of course, should be viewed live, or I mean, it should be viewed in person in the room. But that's not possible right now, so we have to make do with a digital presentation. But I think the live format is kind of interesting because it creates a tighter connection in a way, I feel, than a video, ordinary video. So today I'm going to show a new work that is called, it's my number 296 artwork in my whole body of work, and the title is Turntable Wishing Well. And first, before I show you the work, you can see it behind the plastic. I want to say a little bit about participatory art, because this work was made as a participatory art in an exhibition that I had not long ago in Stockholm, in Husby Konsthall. Yeah, I think that interesting art to me always involves some sort of risk making, so that has always been something that is important to me to have in my work, to channel the unknown, sort of. And to do this, you have to utilize the unexpected. And how to do this? How can you find the unexpected when you are the artist and you do everything? Of course, you can try to surprise yourself, but I always found that difficult and problematic in some way. So I used some other methods to try to do this. And one of these, to kind of avoid doing art in my own aesthetics or my own personal style. And so I developed different kinds of methods or conceptual frameworks to do art. In the early days, I used photographic models, or used photos and then I followed the photo precisely, and that was a way to escape my own personal aesthetics. But nowadays I use my material more in that way. I use filler as a material, and when I use filler, there are always some random stuff happening, and especially because I have a kind of a thick layer, it cracks up in a way that I can't predict. So something unexpected is happening, and I like that. But another way to do this is also to work with other people, invite them to participate on my work, and then I can never know what they will do. And it won't be 100% random, of course, because 100% randomness, I feel, is maybe not that interesting. It's something in between what you can expect and what you can't expect that I want to try to hit that spot in a way. Yeah, and another way working with participatory art is interesting is because it's an exchange of power, I feel. It blurs the boundaries between artist and spectator, and you can say also between the consumer and the producer, as the artist as producer and the spectator as consumer of art. And in that sense, you can also connect it to the relationship between employer and employee in a way, because the artist has the right to the artwork, and the people participating on the artwork contributes to the value of it in a way. So it's similar to the relationship between the owner and the worker, and I think that's interesting. I think this parallel. Yes. So let me explain a little bit what I have developed a concept that I call, or a project I call tables, that I've been doing for the last year or more, actually, on my exhibitions, and that means that I have a frame, my usual frames, but I put legs on it, so it turns into a table, and then I fill the table with a filler on top, a layer of filler that is wet during the exhibition, and then the visitors on the opening are invited to do different kinds of things in the wet filler. My first versions of this, it was totally free for the viewers to do anything they wanted. They could draw in it or make impressions of some sort. But lately I started to direct it a little bit more and give them a specific challenge. So with this, yeah, and that, to me, it's why I do it as a table. It's not totally. It's an idea behind that, and that is that actually it says something about art as a commodity. I feel a commodity is, an object with an exchange value. An exchange value is something added to it more than the use value. Use value is the value that has to a specific user, like a table. You use it to sit in front and eat by, so it has a use value, but the table as a commodity has something more. It has a value. You can sell it and then they buy other stuff. So this is the logic of capitalism, right? And Marx actually used the table as an example in his book Capital. He was writing about, by the time when he was writing Capital in the 19th century, there was this popular séance where they use a table, they sit around the table and they hold hands and they have a séance, so they were kind of summoning the spirits, and suddenly the table will start to move and turn. And he describes the relationship between the object and the commodity in a way that it adds almost like a magical aspect to the object, and it's like the table start to dance and move. So that's why I felt it was interesting to use the table as a metaphor in a way, because after the exhibition, the table stays in the exhibition and the filler dries, and this becomes a documentation of the event at the opening. Afterwards, I take it home to the studio and I finish it, make it into a painting. I take off the legs, so I kind of turn the table. That's why I call it turntable. And it's so turning tables is an expression for change of power, right? So I found that interesting. Yes. So for the tables wishing well, that was the event at Husby Konsthall. I had decided that the visitors should place small wooden ships. Let me just fetch one. I will show you. It was wooden ships like this. I will show you close up. Yes, like that one. Perforated wooden ships I had 150 of those. So the visitors could pick them up and then push them down in the filler anywhere they wanted on the surface. So that was their assignment. Yes, so now I think we are ready to expose this painting, and you can see how it looks. And I will now take the camera and give you some close-ups. So here you can see the painting from the side. You see that the frame is about 5 centimeters thick. And then I'm gonna let you see how it looks. You see there's a different shape there. This shape is made actually from a tool that I also provided that I could press down the chips with. A small piece of a tube. So somebody has used the tube to make an impression, and that was not intended, but I think I like these unexpected things to happen. And also you can see over here that somebody has pressed down their key also in the filler. And all these things I kind of like about it. Yes, and here you can see it a little bit from the other side. So there's a lot of things going on the surface, unexpected things, and that this is, here's a little bit, another piece of a key actually that kind of disappeared a little bit because the impression was not deep enough. But I find all this interesting. But I'm gonna put down put back the camera now. Yes, and you can see that it's, even though all these are in a way random, it's still something, happening here. It's not random. So it's kind of complex composition, and I'm very happy how it turned out. Actually, it's one of the best turntable works I feel, even though I like them all. Okay, so before we finish, I would like to share with you some of my own ideas about this particular work, my own interpretations in a way. So this work was made during an exhibition called Shadow Government, and it was about the relationship between power and visibility in a way, about surveillance and the desire to see and to be seen, or not to be seen, to stay hidden, or not to see. And yeah, to maybe stay behind the veil in a way. So in a way there was this theme about hidden power in this exhibition, and that relates to conspiracy theories, and that was the title, Shadow Government. It was series of paintings with figures. It could be like a shadow government, I guess. But conspiracy theories, they are kind of related, I feel, to also belief in something supernatural, not something beyond your control, at least. So I felt that the metaphor of a wishing well was interesting to connect with this, because in a wishing well you have a symbolic sacrifice. You try to appease fate when you're wishing for something by throwing coins into a well, or into, like the famous Fontana di Trevi in Roma. You throw coins into the fountain, and I remember being there. I saw all these coins at the bottom of the fountain, and they made these strange patterns also. So these could be like coins put down by the visitors into a wishing well in a way. but there's also another reference in this work, because in the exhibitions a lot of paintings were about eyes also. On this Shadow Government series they have these empty eyes with no pupils, and there are also other paintings with eyes. So that was kind of a formal constant in a lot of the works. And these ships actually has the exact diameter as a human eye, 25 millimeters. And also this could look like an iris, right? And it's placed on in different directions. All these holes in the middle are placed randomly, so they are kind of looking in different directions. So there's another reference here. It is from Norse mythology. You have Mimir's well. Mimir, he was a giant living by the roots of the big tree Yggdrasil, one of the roots. And there was a well there, and Mimir was extremely wise, and that was because he drank from the well. The well was the well of wisdom in a way. And Odin went there because he wanted to know everything was happening in the world, and he could do that by sacrificing his own eye into the well. He placed the eye into the well, and then he could see the whole world simultaneously. So that's kind of reflecting, in a way, how like a wishing well. He wanted to become the god he is by sacrificing his eye and gaining wisdom, and wisdom, gaining a God perspective, you can say also. He could see everything simultaneously in what we call the God perspective, someone who can see everything everywhere at the same time. And I think that that's what we kind of want from our gods, that they could see everything, and then they could see us and everyone at the same time. So I feel that this is also sort of a metaphor for social media in a way. It's almost like surveillance, and you can think about Michel Foucault. He was writing about the panopticon. This is panopticon was a way you build prisons with one guarding tower in the middle and all the cells around it, and the guard could see all the prisoners at the same time, but the prisoners couldn't see the guard because he was hidden up in this tower. And he used it as a metaphor for our society, that for example, psychiatric hospitals and all that, we were treated to become normal, and we internalize this gaze from society, how to act, so we all stay within the normalcy in a way. And maybe social media is doing something of the same, because we have these personalized ads, and they're tracking everything we do, and we get these ads, so we are kind of treated to be good citizens, to be good consumers, to not go outside of the normalcy. And it doesn't matter what we do on social media. That's not really the point. We can do anything. We can write anything. We almost post anything. It's because it's not what the goal. The goal is more to surveil us and let us become good consumers in a way, I feel. Yeah, and also with social media, we also in a way sort of monitoring ourselves, because we feel also that and this broadcast is something part of this as well. I feel now that there are many eyes turned to me. In my imagination, it is that, at least. So I feel we have a desire to be seen by what you could call like the big other, in the psychoanalytic theory, the big other represents other people and society and language, everything as a whole. We want to be seen by this big other and acknowledged by it. So social media fills that function in a way that maybe was occupied before by religion through, for example, confession. You confessed to the priest what you have done, and then God saw your inner self in a way. But now maybe social media does that for us. So that was one of my ideas behind this work. Yeah, I think that was all I kind of wanted to say. So I will stop the broadcast here, and I will see if there is any questions or comments. I will try to answer them afterwards. And this will be posted on my website soon, and will be available there for purchase and on other platforms I use to sell my work. So you can check in later and see and there I will also post images from the production and all that. Thank you very much for listening and viewing. Okay, bye bye.